What's going on, mechanics? Today we got some questions that need to be answered. Going vegan Q&A. Let's get it started. Hey, welcome back or welcome to the Vegan Mechanic. I'm your host, Antonio Simpson. Today we're going to talk about all things about going vegan, the questions I get about the journey. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Become a member of the channel, become a mechanic today. It's totally free. Make sure you hit that bell notification. All right, let's get it started. Question is, what animal product do you suggest that I cut first?
Every last one of them.
The answer is all of them. The best way to get into this lifestyle is to remove yourself of all the previous things. When I started going vegan vegetarian, I set a date of when I wanted to strip down, because I did a strip down method. I will talk about it later in this video. If you already know my journey, you probably heard it before. So in other words, what should you cut out first? I would say cut all of it out. The next question that I get often is how long I've been vegan. I answered that already in this vegan journey, but it's a question that just came up again. I've been vegan for 5 years. I initially went vegan for my personal health when I first did this thing. I had a friend of mine named Miguel who was vegan before me, and he introduced me into the lifestyle, and he was like, hey, listen, you shouldn't be eating like that. This stuff causes issues, health. You know, there's no such thing as runs in your family. It's just your family's diet that runs in the family. So initially when I became vegan, it was all about health. I was super healthy 5 years ago when I first started this journey. Not saying that I'm not super healthy now. I am still healthy, but I was a lot more strict 5 years. Another question that I always get is, do you eat seafood? Do you eat cheese? And the answer to both of those is no. Being a vegan, I subscribe to not wanting to eat or harm any animals. So I do the best that I can personally to not inflict any harm on animals. And that would be, I don't want to consume any of their bodily fluids, i.e. from the cheese, and I don't want to consume any of their flesh, i.e. from any of the meats or seafoods. It's still meat, no matter which way you look at it, and I don't want any animal flesh. So one of the other questions that I've always get is, hey Tony, did you just go cold turkey? And the answer to that is no. Honestly, I didn't. First, I did my research on the vegan plant-based diet before I made the transition. And then after I did all my research and I realized, like, hey, this might actually be a good thing to do, I said, all right, let me set a date. So here's the thing. Growing up in Baltimore, Maryland, I was really heavy in seafood. I was really heavy on my hot wings and stuff like that. So I knew I needed to come up with a plan that once I went vegan, it would be no looking back. So this is the strategy that worked best for me. I have no temptations or cravings or any of that stuff to want to ever go back. Almost immediately when I made the decision to go vegan, I stopped eating any land animals altogether immediately. I know it sounds crazy to, specify in that sort of fashion, but the only thing I was eating was seafood. I adopted what's known as a pescatarian diet. And once again, this was short-lived. So from May to August, I decided to do the pescatarian diet. So now let's talk about the significance of August. That was my birthday. So at that point, I said, okay, let me use my birthday as another benchmark. So on my birthday on August the 25th, I decided, all right, I'm going to transition into a vegetarian diet from this day on. So I went vegetarian on my birthday, and I did that from August to December. It was supposed to be January 1st, but I stopped it a little early because I felt I started consuming a lot of dairy in my vegetarian stage. A lot of dairy and cheese and stuff, and I felt the immediate reaction of my body did not like the over consumption of the dairy products. So I cut dairy out mid-December. Technically went vegan before January 1st, but I always just use the 1st because that's the date that I remember, and that's the date that I originally set. So I set 3 days or 3 dates to come off of the previous standard American SAD diet and transition into the vegan lifestyle and the vegan diet, because it's not just a diet, it's also a lifestyle for me. For everybody else, it may be different. The last question that I'm gonna answer for this episode is, would you ever consider eating meat again? So here's the thing, right? The answer, short answer, fast answer, long answer is no. But I want to give some explanation. Just the terminology in itself, calling things meat or proteins or etc., is the way to disconnect people away from the fact that you're eating animal flesh. And honestly, that's just not something that I want to partake in anymore. If anybody wants to do that, then, you know, so be it. Of course, I'm going to tell you guys, eat grass, not ass, because that's what you need to be doing. But me personally, I'll never, ever eat meat again. Number one, the meat alternatives are spot on. I find so much more joy in eating some jackfruit or some mushrooms or anything like that. The way your body reacts to eating that type of stuff, like eating like a mushroom-based meat replacer, it's just like, you'll eat it and you don't feel weighed down. You know, I remember eating red meats and burgers and steaks and just feeling weighed down and tired. No. In your plant-based diet, I haven't come across much food that really wore me out and I was just like, oh, I'm sluggish, I'm tired. Of course, if you overindulge in like a Chipotle burrito, of course, vegan anyway, you will still have some of the itis. Like, you're going to get the itis no matter what. You know what I mean? You just got to do the best that you can in the journey that you're in. So, I hope today this answers some of your questions. If you have more questions you want answered on the next episode of Vegan Q&A, let me know. Drop it below in the comments, and you know, I'll answer some in the comments, but I'd really rather answer them in the next video. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Hope your Veganuary journey is going amazing. Eat grass, not ass.